Hey guys, welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 19 with the San Francisco Giants. We are here in the 2019 off season. Um, we finished the season actually pretty well. One game below 500. See the schedule here. August was actually a really good month for us. We actually had, I think we were, I want to say, 10 games out, like around the 23rd. And then we were 9.5 out here, and I thought it was kind of over. And then we were definitely out of it after we got swept by the Dodgers here, and we even kept up our winning ways a little bit here. You can see a bunch of wins here, a couple wins here, you know, so and so. But we probably would have finished 500 or even above, but we shut down Kershaw around the 18th, 19th. I've seen injuries in this game all too frequently, and I wasn't willing to risk Kershaw getting injured for next season. That would really hinder what we were trying to do. So I just said, let's leave Kershaw down. And then, Yadier Alvarez finished the year really well. He should be a staple in the rotation next year. Bieber had a good season overall and finished the season well. Overall, I mean, we finished the season really well. Chris Shaw is a guy that has to be in our lineup next season. He finished the season phenomenally. I think he was the rookie of the month 2 out of the last 3 months. His OPS got all the way up to 924. Finished with a 3-win season in only 80 games. So Chris Shaw pretty much put himself into that first base role that we were looking for. So next season, I don't see a reason to try and upgrade there. We're gonna keep Chris Shaw there. Um, Next season, I'm probably gonna look to upgrade at shortstop, or I guess technically at third base, but I'd like to upgrade at shortstop and move Manny to third because Ryder Jones had a 1-win season, which is not bad, but I would like Ryder Jones more as a pinch hitter type role. Chris Taylor played really well for us, better than he did on the Dodgers. I haven't checked this out, but I'm curious how Bumgarner did with his new team, and not bad, pretty good. They made the World Series. The World Series came down to the Yankees and the Dodgers, I believe. Yeah. And the Dodgers could not get the job done. Kind of curious if Gleyber Torres wins MVP. Dan Jennings got a win here. Bumgarner struggled in his 2 World Series starts. Um, Maybe not quite reminiscent of his last postseason appearance, but anyway, we are getting into the off season now. The A pretty important off season. After finishing the season 80 and 82, and probably could have been better. We obviously lost one of our main starters at the beginning of the year. We shut down Kershaw to end the season. That's probably a win or two right there. Maybe just one, who knows. We have younger guys that are starting to play better, holes that are filling, and, we have overall just a good roster. I don't, there's not too many holes anymore. Yes, we have some holes in our pitching, and our defense was really bad last year, but our biggest weakness was our bullpen. Even with Betances and Jennings, it was still pretty bad, and it was even worse when they were gone. That's something I still think we can figure out if we really try. And unfortunately, Tony Watson. Okay. I don't know if that's more or less. I never really keep track of that. So a big part of this offseason, I think, is going to be bringing in new coaching. We definitely, I think a big part of our struggles last year was thanks to our coaching. And, if we can get maybe just, you know, a better pitching coach and a better hitting coach, I think we might be able to right this ship a little bit. So I think Bachelor's probably our best option. He's young. He's a power pitcher. Power pitcher focus. We are going to do just a 1-year deal, and if it's looking good, then we'll keep him on. If not, then we're going to ship him right back out. So looking at a guy like Brunansky, just kind of a neutral hitting coach. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And then trainer, I always go for prevention, especially prevention of arms. Losing a batter's one thing. I put a lot into sole pitchers, and Stan Conti seems like the best option. I like to lock these guys up long term, not even think about it for a while. And now we're going to look at salary arbitration. So not a whole lot of guys here. Corey Guerin, I did not realize he was a free agent. I wouldn't mind getting him back, but not at $6 million, that's for sure. I can fill his role. Law, bring him back. Osich, another bad year. That's what he is at this point. Strickland, although he didn't have a terrible year, I'm not willing to give him that much money. Taylor, that's a lot of money for Taylor, but I'm willing to pay it. Hernandez, same deal. Franco, he was bad. Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in Franco. We will non-tender him. Kelby Thompson isn't playing for us anymore. Joe Panic, see you later. Hunter Strickland, see you later. So that should give us more money. Joe Kelly does not get compensation. Tragic. No, wait, we had Dominic Brown on our team? Man, always like Dominic Brown. All right, so let's get to these awards. Okay, so we're back, and the awards have been announced, and I believe we won at least one. You can see the AL fielders here. NL fielders, we did win. Kershaw did win Gold Glove, and Brett Gardner won Gold Glove in left field. Britton gets reliever of the year, and that's a dagger. AL Silver Sluggers can be seen here. NL Silver Sluggers. Unfortunately, Posey does win the NL Silver Slugger. Unfortunately, Machado's not going to win because of this DB. Rookie of the Year is DJ Stewart. Wow. I'd love to see that one day, although do not have a lot of hope. No offense to DJ Stewart. NL Rookie of the Year, Chris Shaw actually comes in third. Adames in fourth. I like the future of this team. Aaron Boone wins Manager of the Year, and Dave Roberts wins NL Manager of the Year. We did get all our coaches. Danny Salazar winning Cy Young. Hildenberg third, thanks to his relief appearances. He was really, really good this year. Kershaw gets second in Cy Young to Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola on a better team, won 14 games. It's probably what gave him the edge. He also maybe just had a better season, and Kershaw was set down for the last half of the last month. Seager gets MVP. Machado finishes fourth in MVP voting. Pretty close. But Seager did have a phenomenal season, so... Anyway, continuing, I will check back in after the salary arbitration hearings. I'm trying to cut this video down and make it as short as possible, and I'm trying to cut it down into one part. Okay, back here after salary arbitration hearings, our three guys get their salary arbitrations, and moving on. A pretty big list of international free agents. Yu Darvish, Toronto, okay. If Yu Darvish is the biggest free agent, that would be pretty disappointing. I know at least two guys in Goldschmidt and Bumgarner that are going to be here. Nolan Arenado, wouldn't that be a splash? I don't quite know about him. Okay, holy God. Look at this name. I'm gonna take a stab at it. Taiki Michaelekelevesi. Taiki Michaelekelevesi. Michaelekelevesi. My attempt to make this video shorter is not going to be supported by pronouncing this person's name. So looking at our options here, the guy that shoots out is this international free agent Juan Rangel. He pretty good player. I don't know if they're going to show me his stats in. No. Okay. But his rating's obviously there. The question, obviously, him being a international guy, will he be that good? We know Arenado is going to be that good, although we literally don't even have the money for Arenado. Even if he fills a role that we need, just he fits perfectly into third base, where we obviously have a hole. But I don't think it makes a ton of sense to go after Arenado and use every penny we have. I'll probably approach him and just see if I can maybe get him down to like 25 million, something a little more reasonable than $37 million. But right now, I'm probably just gonna stick to going after Juan Rangel. This guy looks to have all the tools that we need in a right fielder, and it might open up some trade assets for us. Looking at the other spots of need, first base, I think we kind of solved, to be honest. Center field is a need. I'm not going after $31 million AJ Pollock. Aaron Hicks is $19 million. Jackie Bradley Jr., probably not a bad option. Guys get injured. Jackie Bradley Jr. for $3 million is definitely interesting. Kevin Pillar, same idea. Pillar can be a backup outfielder. He's really cheap. Anyway, I'm going to cut out and make some offers, and I'll check back in after that. Okay, we're back, and we have a couple offers here. Juan Rangel, we did throw an offer at. Same thing as Gilloran last year, Zachariah. If he reaches those, then he's going to be an elite talent. Another international guy, Taiki, you cannot correct me on his name because he is not real. He is Tuavelian. That you can correct me on because very well might be wrong. 97 to 99 mile an hour stuff. There's a fastball and a curveball. He's 6'4", 230. This guy looks to be really good. 80 stamina out of the bullpen. I think he can work. Pillar is a backup outfielder. Again, I don't know how I do this. Pillar is a backup outfielder. He, a one-win player, but a guy coming off the bench who maybe gets a couple starts due to injury, or he can obviously be a defensive replacement. I think that's worth grabbing. Boxberger, coming off a pretty bad season, a couple bad seasons actually, but I like the way he projects. His Ks per nine are always really high. His stuff's there, his changeup's there. I just hope he can figure it out. It's only 1 year, $2.5 million. We're still left with $18 million. So, I was thinking about Familia. He's coming off maybe a disappointing season. And then we don't really have many other holes when you look across our roster. But, I don't know if we really have room for another starter. Rich Hill. Looks like he's just looking for a minor league contract. He's 39 years old. Maybe this might be He only pitched 1 game last year. He's wrecked. But, I need to change his time. So, yeah. The last 2 games, he's only pitched 7 games total. And hasn't even been great in those 7 games. But if he just wants a minor league contract, by all means. Yeah. I'm willing to toss that his way. He's, a 3.5-star pitcher. It's pretty much a no-risk deal. I don't really think I want to throw anybody else offers. So we're going to continue on. I'm going to go try and make a trade for a guy I have on my mind, and I will get back to you guys. So we did complete a trade, not quite for the guy I wanted. The guy I wanted had a far too high of a salary, so we went after somebody a little lower salary and a completely different position. I was going after Mike Trout, and I ended up at the Mariners and going after Edwin Diaz and getting Edwin Diaz. Obviously, our bullpen was really bad last season. Edwin Diaz, although he did not have the best season, he's a guy that typically does well in this game, and I think he's kind of just a solid point in our bullpen. I don't think he's too risky. Even his worst year last year, he still had 1 win above replacement, which is fine for a bullpen guy. And our rotation's kind of coming together here. I mean, these are the 5 guys that I will put it down for. But not only did we get Edwin Diaz, we also added a corner outfielder in Mitch Hangier. I always pronounce it Hangier, but that's almost definitely wrong. Coming off another guy coming off a really bad season, although he has been really good in his last 2 seasons previous to that in the MLB. But I just think, I think we can probably not get Pilar, although I'll still take Pilar, because looking at my lineup, looking at our depth chart and lineup right now, at least outfield wise, we have Justin Williams, Chris Taylor. Sorry about that, I had to cut out for a sec. Remember that we are getting that outfielder from the international leagues, Rangel, or at least we're trying to. So we get him. The only thing we're left without is really a center fielder. And as much as I like Chris Taylor in center, it might make more sense to play Chris Taylor at short, move Machado to third, have Ryder play first, or have Ryder be the backup. But if we do that, we don't really have a center fielder, except that's where Mitch Hangier comes in, where he has the same fielding ability as Taylor. He might not be a true center fielder, but I think he's good enough. And watch his ratings probably go down. No, he's just what he is at center. So he plays center. He plays right or left, whichever one Rangel is better at. And then, or the opposite of whichever Banger's at. And then Adames plays second. Obviously, Posey plays catcher. Shaw still at first. I don't feel the need to move Shaw after that season he had last year. And then Ryder Jones is a perfect bench guy, perfect pinch hitter. Comes in as a lefty as well. Will Smith comes in as the backup catcher, great fielder. And, Gorky Hernandez, I'm fine with him not being on the team to start the season, even though he did have a pretty good year last year. The only question this leaves is, what do we do with Brett Gardner? Because Brett Gardner is coming off a phenomenal season, a 4.4 win season, where he was one of the best players on the team. Do we? Do we maybe start him in center? Do we platoon him in center? Bottom line is, I don't think it's a bad thing to have too many outfielders, which is what we're leaning towards having. But what could be a problem is who ends up starting. I'm not going to remove any offers now. I'm going to leave it as is. But, we'll just see how it shakes out. We still need bullpen pieces. Edwin Diaz is the only guy in this bullpen I'm confident in. So another trade that I was going to do, and I think I'm going to do, although I have to find a new piece because the piece I used, I traded away in the Diaz deal, but I'm going to try and get Corey Knebel or Josh Hader, whichever one is easier to get. And see, they make it tough. They make it tough to get him for sure. But we're not giving him Adames. We're not giving him Alvarez. That I can guarantee you, the viewer. And I'm not willing to give him really one of my top prospects either. I was more so thinking some of these guys that are easier to get. Oh, I should go over what it took to get Diaz. So I meant to cut back in during the trade, but I just totally forgot. Sandro Fabian, this is one of those low star guys that has been featured in a lot of deals. He's playing well in high A ball. He's 21 years old. He's got 2 stars. He's definitely a good prospect, and it makes sense for Seattle to go after him. But after his year in 2018 with Single A, High A, he didn't play. Actually, played really well. But Double A, he seemed probably where he should be at 21 years old. I don't see him really rivaling us. Maybe he makes the majors, but I don't see him being great. Santa Bria, definitely good. Had a really solid year in high A, but he's already 22, about to turn 23. I'm not too worried about him. And then Felix Lassen, another guy who played really well in rookie ball, but he's already 21. So we gave up those 3 guys for Mitch and Diaz, which I'm pretty happy with. I think that's a pretty good deal. And yeah, I'm doing what I can to get Knievel. Cutting back in here, we were not able to figure out a fair deal for Knievel or for Hader. They wanted a Justin Williams or a Tanner Houck to get the job done. So we moved on from that. I'm not about giving big name prospects for those relievers. I'm much more comfortable giving those guys for actual starters or batters. Toronto gets Goldschmidt, gets him out of the NL. Hall of Fame voting, as I've said before, I do like to do this. Tristan McKenzie for Kyle Barraclough. Barclough could be a guy that we actually aim for. Barry Bonds, always vote him in. Barry Bergman. I'm going to try not to miss Marino Rivera. Obviously not Mariano Rivera because he's not here anymore, but a guy like him. Clemens, to me, always deserves to be in. Jeter, to me, is more borderline than people say. I will vote him in because I think he made a lot of really clutch plays in the 14-time All-Stars and all the praise and highlights, but I think he was overrated when it comes down to it. Musina's borderline. I think I'm going to actually pass on Musina, even though he was a Oriole legend. Manny gets in for me, as I've said before. Schilling gets in for me. That will be it. It's a pretty big ballot. It's actually probably about normal size. But let's continue on here. No free agency news quite yet. When winter meetings roll around, my plan is probably to deal away one of these outfielders, specifically one of the corner outfielders, and try and go get a little more help in the bullpen, whether it be Knievel and or a Hader or some other options. Darvish comes to the NL in the form of the Cardinals. guess that's their replacement. Let's see the offseason summary of Blue Jays. We are actually third, which is pretty good. Let's check out our forecast. So added Hangyer and Diaz, lost Joe Kelly. I don't see Joe Kelly reproducing a 1.4 win season, so I'm comfortable moving on from Mr. Kelly. Pollock goes to Los Angeles. Please be the Cardinals. Oh, God. All right. Dodgers seem to have gotten better. Garrett Cole goes back to the Astros, and they get Brad Brock. Indians get Yasiel Puig. That actually helps us. It's probably who they were replacing when they got Pollock, although Pollock is definitely a better player than Puig, at least in real life. I would assume this game as well. Rich Hill seems interested. Pilar, Boxberger, all interested. Michael Givens. Michael Givens is a guy that I think we should maybe try and target. Definitely not with Tristan McKenzie, but yeah, something like this, just where we have to give up nothing for him. Because I think Givens can be a good player. So they actually want something if I take all the money. It's not a big deal. I'm nitpicking at this point, but we want money, so. Yep, that'll do. We lose $300,000, give up this guy who is pretty much nothing. Had a half-win season in single A last year. He's already 25. They look to just want to get rid of Givens, who struggled last year, but definitely a buy low candidate. So we get Michael Givens essentially for nothing. I don't quite know if he's going to be good, but definitely worth the shot. Definitely worth a shot. As winter meetings have begun, so I'm going to cut out here and see if maybe we can swing a few deals our way, and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. We have some trades. We are completely rehashing this bullpen. We should have a bullpen that is very tough to deal with after these moves. We have 3 moves lined up to acquire some bullpen pieces, starting with the San Diego Padres giving us Brad Hand. Brad Hand is coming off a 2-win season where he pitched to an insanely high BABIP at a 3.13 ERA. Coming off 2 really good seasons, actually. The year before, he was instrumental in their World Series run. Yeah, he won reliever of the year before. Brad Hand is definitely a guy that we're trying to get. We realize that we're going to be short on lefties. All we have right now is Edwin Diaz, and the other 2 guys we're getting are both righties. And I think Brad Hand can be a really nice piece for us. We are giving up nothing. I don't know why the Padres are doing this, but I guess Brad Hand, they see they don't have much money. Brad Hand does have a pretty high salary room, or a pretty high salary. So they're getting rid of this. The team option would be for us, but I could see us executing that if he has another 2-win season. I mean, that's still a pretty good contract. At worst, it's a 1-year rental for like 5.5 million or 5.2 million. So I'm down with that. That's the first trade. Second trade with the Minnesota Twins, and yes, we're getting AL reliever of the year Trevor Hildenberger, coming off of a phenomenal season with a 1.71 ERA, a .95 WHIP, a 2.6 win season, and not only that, the year before was pretty darn good as well. He also has a lot of team control left. A full-on ground ball pitcher. There's a sinker, slider, and a changeup, only throwing 86 to 88, but he has gotten the job done with it, so I'm not upset about it. We're also getting a backup catcher that I threw in last year. Obviously, We came into the season without a backup catcher, and Mitch Garver has proved he can hold Mitch Garver has proved he can hold his own in that position, posting one pretty good season from the catcher spot and another very short season, only 6 games. But I think even in that short time, he proved he can hold his own, at least a backup catcher. I don't know if we're going to need a backup catcher, but it's never a bad thing to have depth there. And we're giving up Connor Grams, who had a lot of interest in all of these trades, and it makes sense. I kind of like his ratings. The OSA ratings like him even less than us, actually, but I don't know. They like him, and he was our 8th round draft pick this year. So if we're getting AL Relievers of the Year for that, I am all for it. We pull this deal. And then to finish off our trades, we go to the rebuilding Milwaukee Brewers. And yes, we are getting Corey Knebel. Giving up Brett Gardner, I talked about it before, but we do have a logjam in the outfield. And Brett Gardner himself is coming off of his best season, bar none his best season, in the majors. And the way I look at it is we're selling high. I don't think this is a consistent rate for him. I don't think there's any way he continues this. And he had a 352 BABIP last year, and part of that is due to San Francisco, and a lot of that's due to luck. I would be surprised if he continued to put those numbers up, so I'm very content getting rid of him. Not to mention, if we get the outfielder we're trying to get, he is a lefty that plays corner outfield, and I think he can play center. He has pretty good range in center, so he has a lot of the same skills Brett Gardner has, but obviously he's a much better hitter. So somebody's going to replace Brett Gardner right away. I'm not worried about that. And then we're losing Gregory Santos. These are two of those guys that don't look like they have potential, but playing well, and they might end up being something. Gregory Santos, a 20-year-old starter, definitely has some potential. And Josh Wolf is actually probably the favorite prospect that we're getting rid of. He has perfectly even ratings. We drafted him this year in the 10th round. He was our final pick. Like I said, I just like his ratings. He played well in rookie ball at the age of 19, so I don't like to see him go, but he still has to develop a changeup, and I don't know if that's going to happen. This is just a straight-up deal, no money involved. We get Corey Knebel on the team, so a lot of moves here. I can confidently say the hot stove is in full effect this time, as we add 3 major bullpen pieces in Corey Knebel, Trevor Hildenberger, and Brad Hand. Mitch Garver also included, though he might not be on the opening day roster. So now our bullpen, if I can put this together real quick, looks a lot better and the Michael Givens deal a little earlier. Don't know if Michael Givens is going to make the roster, but yeah, those top 5 are very, very good. And when we add a lefty to this, which I plan on doing, I plan on bringing in one more arm and having it be a lefty. I don't know how or which way I do it, but I can figure that out, I'm sure. Maybe it's through here, but to start, I think we are going to... Is he a lefty? I thought he was. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Tyke's going to be our lefty. Brad Boxberger. We're going to withdraw... I don't know, I'm debating on that. It's only $2 million, but it's $2 million we might be able to use on someone else. And it's not like he's the only relief pitcher on the market. I can figure that out if... So yeah, we're going to remove that offer. $6 million is about how much I want to go into free agency with, so I think we're going to hang on to the rest of that money. Also use it if we get into any small bidding wars. I really hope Rangel does not get into a bidding war, because he is the guy we want the most as winter meetings come and go. And now we're at the Rule 5 draft, where I always seem to forget where our minor league is. Sacramento, Richmond. Let's go to the Rule 5 draft. We're going to start we're by adding Tristan McKenzie to the secondary 40-man. Troy Montgomery, 3-2 wins above replacement in AAA. Troy Montgomery is going to be the pick here. I did pick him in a different save. I believe it was the Reds, and he gave us some good production as a fourth outfielder. Not that we really need it this year, but can hurt. Okay, cutting back in here. I guess a little unfortunate. All of the guys I sent down for the Rule 5 draft have been claimed. A little shocking. I really did not see some of those guys getting claimed. Mac Williamson pretty much proved he... Personal message, yeah, that's all executed. That's fine. I took him off the 40-man for a reason, so definitely comfortable with them not being on the team anymore. Cutting back in here, Nolan Arenado signs with the Toronto Blue Jays. After his stint with Colorado, he follows the footsteps of Rocky legend Troy Tulowitzki and signs a contract with the Toronto Blue Jays. 6-year, $165 million. That's averaging out to $27 million. It's about $5 more million than I tried to offer him, but by no means is that a big deal. I wasn't really keen on getting Arenado this year. We had a lot of other holes that I wanted to fill. Arenado would have been really cool, trust me, but comfortable not getting him. So we get Rich Hill, a no-risk deal. If he pitches well in the minors, then I could see him coming back up for us, but if he doesn't, then we just won't bring him up and he will be released. Kevin Pillar agrees to our contract, which is good to see. I just think he's a value guy, even if we don't necessarily need another outfielder. Like I said, I just think he's a value pickup. Taiki, I'm not ever going to say his last name. You could pretty much give that up. He's what we want in a pitcher. And then Juan Rangel has agreed to a contract with the San Francisco Giants. I don't know if I ever showed this contract. It's very team-friendly. If this guy does just absolutely suck, then we're just going to, not even question it. And it's a 2-year, $7 million deal. And that's a contract you can live with, even if a guy is completely nothing. But I have a good feeling that's not going to be the case with Rangel. I think we've compiled a good roster here. Trying not to get too excited, but it's definitely hard. So I'm thinking this is how the lineup's going to look. Pillar here. This lineup has depth just as much as it does star power. Ali Castillo actually played decently in his very limited play time, but we could definitely use another middle infielder to back up Adames and Taylor. Being said, I think it's going to be kind of hard to find. And Adames and Taylor are both guys that are used to playing pretty much every day. But yeah, I like this lineup a lot. If push comes to shove, I will move one of these outfielders to first because I'm not super confident in Shaw, but Shaw definitely earned the opportunity to hold that first base spot. It's just a quick test. I will do what I usually do and clear this to begin the season, but just a quick test of what this lineup's going to look like. We do lose that lefty leadoff man that we consistently love to have, but I think the star power of this lineup is going to override that. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm assuming with this lineup. And pitching wise, yeah, that's about right. I would love to add another lefty, but even if we don't, I think we'll be okay. Okay, we're back. the Hall of Fame voting is in. Derek Jeter gets in on his first ballot. Clemens gets in, and Bonds gets in, both on their 8th-year ballot. But Schilling is painstakingly left off by a 0.5%. Just absolutely brutal. Mussina does not get in. Manny doesn't get in. Larry Walker is dropped. And I swear to God, if Jose Valverde got 2% of votes, that is absurd. I'd rather vote for Eric Chavez. No offense to Jose Valverde. So I'm going to cut out again, and I'm hoping I can make this down to one part. So, because last time the second part of the offseason was pretty uneventful, and I don't think it's really necessary, so I'm going to try and cut this, I'm going to try and keep this to one part. So a little bit of a surprise here. We actually signed Dellin Betances, the former Giant. He had a short run-in with our team, as many of you know. But I noticed we had about 12 million left. I don't find it necessary to go into to go into the season with that much money, so I spent a little $5 million on Dellin Betances. A little bit of a weird contract here. He gets a player option next year, and we have a team option the year after. So, it's the type of contract that works. If the player option, he'll probably decline that because I think Dellin Betances is going to have a better year than that. But if he accepts it, then we have full control of the contract. So really, I could see it going either way. But we like to hold that. We like to hold an extra pitcher, and when we have this extra pitcher, we can afford to have 4 middle relievers. And now in our crowded bullpen, we have some pretty big names. I don't know if Edwin Diaz is going to be the closer. It's probably me, Knievel, but anyway, Michael Givens is the guy with the shortest leash, coming off a really bad season where he pitched to the tune of a pretty low BABIP and a pretty, mediocre ERA. I'd be happy to see this work out. I know a couple of these guys are going to be good, or at least by average, a couple of them will be good. Zachariah Gillorn when it comes to the rotation, I am a bit worried. Hopefully we can figure it out. Maybe McKenzie comes up, maybe White comes up, but obviously Kershaw is the stalwart. He's going to be good. Gillorn is the guy that could be really good, but could just never be the same. Yadier Alvarez coming off a pretty solid season in his rookie year. Hopefully builds on that. Stratton coming off another good season. Even if that's only a 2-win season, I'd be happy with it. I think our lineup is going to be able to carry us to a good amount of wins this season, and I will set the whole lineups and bullpen and rotation and everything, and and I'll check back at the beginning of opening day, or on opening day, and see you guys then. Okay, and we're back here on opening day. No major news throughout the rest of the off season. Be curious to check how everyone finished. How the report card came out. The Blue Jays did improve the most, adding Arenado. We improved the 3rd most. Of course, the Dodgers are above us. But I do think we're a much better team this year than we were last year. I think last year was a stepping stone. We can check out the lineups here. Adames, then Rangel. I think Rangel will be... He played really well in spring training, which is a really good sign. He has all the ratings. I think he fits well as a number 2. Machado coming off, I haven't talked about it a lot, but Machado's year last year was amazing. He almost had a 9-win season, a 1043 OPS while fielding really well. Hopefully he brings that fielding to third base and maybe even better. Posey batting 4th. Don't love that, but it's fine. Justin Williams right now batting 5th. That might change. We will see. This entire bottom of the lineup is subject to change. I think everyone could be, really good, and everyone could struggle. But regardless, we have Mitch Hanier playing center, obviously. He's going to be batting eighth, or he's going to be batting seventh. And then Chris Shaw, who we're still not completely confident in coming into this season after what seemed to be a pretty big outlier season as of last year. That's the lineup across the board, and Ryder Jones is the go-to DH with, what's his name, Will Smith as the backup DH. Will Smith is also a trade candidate. Now here you can see the pitching staff. Taike Macavelis is going to be a middle reliever for us, but I just set it as long relief to not mess up the preseason predictions because I think they look at your team, and if you don't have a long reliever, they count that against you, but I don't know, that's just my theory. This is my rotation, very subject to change. Mitchell White is waiting in the wings, as is Tristan McKenzie. You can see this pretty good. I'm pretty confident everyone here. Gilloran had a really good spring training, which is really good to see. Coming off that injury, Kershaw. Another thing to note: we escaped with virtually no injuries, except to our backup catcher, our third string catcher, Mitch Garver, and Tyler Beede, who was already injured. Everything else was pretty clean. Kershaw injured his hand for like 4 days, but other than that, we were completely clean. So now we will look at the league reports. Top minor league systems. We hold the 4th spot. Luciano is the 11th prospect. Very high hopes for this kid. I'm looking for a year out of him in Single A. Because if he can have a year in Single A, I'll be confident he'll make the majors. Tanner Hawk needs to have a good year in Double A before I can be confident in him. And yeah, all the way down to Sandro Cabrera. This was a guy tossed in a lot of trades, and we never moved him. So we're also going to add him to the short list. He's the 61st prospect. Yeah, I do that conversions. So Luzardo is the number 2 prospect. This guy's really good. Can look at all the prospects real quick. Just go through Arturo Guerrero, Fernando Tatis, Austin Beck rounds out the top 10. Matthew Allen, Luzardo, Torres, Grayson Rodriguez, Casey Mize is still here. Hasn't quite made it to the majors yet. Clay Moffitt, Cole Winn, Hunter Green hanging around as a pitcher. If you use the Reds or get Hunter Green in any of your saves, you should definitely groom him to be a pitcher. He never really progresses as a position player, but he'll be a pretty good pitcher for you. Okay, moving on to let's look at top players. I feel like these are always kind of random, but I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm never included in them. This year Manny Machado is featured as the 5th ranked, and Clayton Kershaw is the 7th ranked pitcher. Preseason predictions. We can see the Yankees defending World Series champions at 98 wins, Indians at 85, Astros at 97, the Rangers at a solid 95. You can see the top 10 batters. And we are projected to be a 91 win team. The expectations have risen a bit here in San Francisco, bringing in a lot of new names, a lot of fresh faces. We're going to have to see how they gel together, see how everything works out, but there's definitely reason to be optimistic this season. Apparently we don't have a top 10 batter in Manny Machado, who finished 3rd in, or 4th in MVP voting, but that's fine. And, yeah, we have Gilloran and Kershaw as pitchers. I don't quite know if Gilloran deserves that role yet, but anyway, that should do it. I'll look at the waiver wire real quick. Oh, I always do that. Yeah, so there's some Julio Urias. This is a guy I tried to trade for at the last deadline, and he has become available at the waiver wire. Anyway, I will make some plays here, and you will see them all in the next video. So Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.